With us, as always, on a Friday morning, we have the great chief and editor of the Kickoff, Mr. Tommy Duff. Tommy, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Tommy, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come talk to me again. Uncle David is still at rest at home, but he is getting better. Everything is going just fine for now. First and foremost, before we begin, where can they get the Kickoff?
They can just call it 423-267-0953, or they can log on to the kickoffstore.com.
We're on volume 69, issue number 5. We got a lot of games to talk about, so let's start off with the top here. Tennessee has not been doing well. This has not been doing well at all.
No. You're right. You're right there. They've definitely got a lot of issues that they're having to deal with right now.
Oh, yeah. They're off this week alongside Georgia, who they're going up against. How do you think they're going to be taking this off week? What do you think they're going to be doing?
Well, Tennessee is going to be – they've opened up competitions at all the positions. Specifically quarterback, they are trying to figure out what kind of team they're going to be, what kind of exactly what they have with their younger players and the freshmen, and if they can compete with some of the older players, so, and – get more playing time out of their younger, less experienced players. Georgia just got off a closer than expected than against Notre Dame. It was a pretty tight matchup. It ended up being 23-17, but it was a fourth quarter game. They're going to be probably taking a little easier before they start going back over their plans. And then after that, they both obviously match up against each other on the 5th, and then they both enter their full SEC slate of games.
Oh, yeah. Tennessee and Georgia are going to meet up. Tennessee has been doing quite dreadful. How do you think this matchup against Georgia? What do you think?
Well, right now, I would say advantage obviously goes to Georgia. Undefeated, one of the top teams. We got them at number 3 this week. Tennessee's down somewhere around 80th or 90th or 80th. Tennessee's first of all, they got to cut down on mistakes. They ran the ball a little bit better at times last week. Still not great, but they just got to get comfortable. They're not a comfortable team right now. They're not comfortable. 4th offensive coordinator in 4 years or whatever it is. And, I don't expect Tennessee to beat Georgia at all. Tennessee just needs to show some that they're headed back in the right direction because after that, Mississippi State should be a winnable game. I mean, it's going to be a tough game, but it's not should be, but it is winnable for Tennessee. And then they got Alabama, which is not winnable. But after that, they got South Carolina, UAB, and Kentucky, Missouri, Vanderbilt. They need to win out of their next 8 games. They need to win at least 5. That would mean a Mississippi State or a Missouri, as well as Kentucky and Vanderbilt, who both teams and South Carolina, all 3 teams, which have their own issues at quarterback or defense or whatever, that are dealing with some of the same issues Tennessee is.
Absolutely. Now, as you mentioned, Alabama, they've been we got to throw some spotlights on them. They've been doing well as of late.
Yeah. They've been doing as well as we expected them to do. We knew they were going to be this awfully good. Alabama's biggest concern is we saw what happened towards the end of last year. They started to slow down. And they just got to keep Tua healthy and stay motivated. They've got Ole Miss this week, who they should be able to handle pretty easily. Maybe not easily, but they should beat Ole Miss. After that, they got Texas A&M, which will be at Texas A&M, which is a tough game. Right now, we can say that they have a clear advantage over Tennessee and Arkansas, so that's 2 more wins. But after that, then they got, as we had mentioned before, the LSU, which is going to be the game of the year again. And then they get ready for Auburn for the SEC championship if they win as expected.
Oh, yeah. Now, Before I got off the phone with him, before I went on the air, our astound host David Jenkins wanted to ask and mention about LSU. They've been doing well. He thinks they're a bit of a sleeper.
They're I wouldn't say underrated, but because everybody's rating them, but they're the team that could upset the apple cart more than anybody else right now. They're the team that they have. They're the team that could win it. They could easily win. They're the team that matches up the best against Alabama, of course. In 2 weeks, this week they don't. No, this week they're off as well, and then next week they got Utah State, which shouldn't be any problem for a team that's playing well on offense. Which is, we're not used to seeing LSU so explosive, putting up 60 points a game like they've done the last 2 weeks. And they haven't dropped below their lowest point total of the year so far is 45 against a ranked Texas team, and that's shocking for an LSU team. It shows that Ed Orgeron was definitely the right guy to lead that program. Of course, on the 12th they got Florida, which will be a tough game. At Florida, they're playing in the swamp, which will not be easy. And then they got Auburn at home, and then they have to go to Alabama on the road, which, that's where their whole season, that's what their whole season will be based around, is that 2-game stretch right there on the end of October with Auburn, and then at home, and then traveling to Alabama.
Oh, yeah, Alabama currently sitting at number 2 of your top rating of the Kickoff Top 25. Of course, second to only arguably the greatest out there so far, Clemson.
Well, the thing with Clemson is that we don't see all the other teams have a stumbling block ahead of them. Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Florida. They all have potential losses on their schedule still. We don't expect Alabama to lose by the way they played so far, but there's a chance that, they could get knocked off by LSU or maybe even Auburn or the SEC championship. Clemson, on the other hand, they don't play. They have nobody left on their schedule that's ranked in the top 25 or even has shown a pulse. Their toughest matchup right now will be FSU, whose coach is on the hot seat. Louisville, Boston College, Wofford, North Carolina State, Wake Forest, who's undefeated, and maybe we might have them ranked down. No, we don't even have them ranked yet because they haven't played. They don't have a win that's knocked them up into their biggest win so far is over North Carolina. Clemson, we don't see a loss. We don't see a loss until they get to the playoffs. Whether they can beat Alabama or Georgia or LSU again remains to be seen. But right now, nobody's going to beat them.
None.
Barring a major upset.
None undisputed. Okay, we got some of the games of the week up here. Ohio State and Nebraska, Virginia and Notre Dame, Kansas City at OK State. Tell me, which one are you looking? Which one are you keeping your eyes on?
The game I'm actually keeping my eyes on is not even one of our games of the week. All those teams, with the exception, Ohio State still undefeated, Virginia still undefeated. Now Kansas State and Oklahoma State. Now that's 2 teams that are still undefeated, wait a minute. Oklahoma State is 3-1, but Kansas State, those are undefeated teams. But the game because there's another week where the matchups, we're not going to hit regular marquee matchups with lots of games until later in the season this year because of scheduling. The one I'm watching actually will be Southern Cal going to Washington, which I think will be a very good game, which will have a lot of say in who's going to represent the Pac-12 in the if not the playoffs, but in one of the Big Six bowl games.
Great hearing from you. Great insight for what's to come. We're going to take our step back. However, one last time, where can they get the kickoff, Tommy?
They can get it at thekickoffstore.com. one word, thekickoffstore.com, or they can give us a call at 423-267-0953.
Again, volume 69, issue number 5. Tommy, again, thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come talk to us. We look forward to it as always. Dave Jenkins sends his regards. He is sorry he can't be here, but when he gets back, he promises he'll light the place up for you.
All right, that sounds great. Tell him I'm thinking about him.
Hey, thank you so much, Tommy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Ethan.